Hello and welcome to the January 17th edition of the Gold, Goats, and Guns Short News. My name is Tom Luongo. We've got a lot to talk about, and today I want to talk about Brexit again. All right, so big day, last couple of days since I've got back to you. The last time I talked to you guys, we had Theresa May's Brexit deal, the truly horrific, worse than current situation Brexit deal, go down in historic defeat, lost by 230 some votes. Unbelievable. Then 24 hours later, she survives, somehow miraculously, a no confidence vote. Now, for those of you confused by this, it actually makes a lot of sense because at the end of the day, the problem here is that there's bipartisan support in the British Parliament to remain in the EU, but not enough Tory Remainers are willing to cross party lines and allow Jeremy Corbyn to come to power. They don't want to lose their majority by allowing a no confidence vote to go through, remove the prime minister, the government falls, we go to a general election, which would take a year. They came out today and said it would take a year to organize a new election. Oh no, by the way, on March 29th, by then, Britain's out of the EU and all of this doesn't matter. So Remain's best tactic was for May to stay in power. Right, they had to vote for her. And as a matter of fact, Theresa May even egged Jeremy Corbyn on, the leader of the Labour Party, in saying, go ahead, give me that no confidence vote, because if you don't, I'm going to call for a vote of confidence in me because I know I've got the votes to handle it, to pass it. So everybody's playing their cards here, and they're playing them badly. But the only one actually who's playing their cards well is Theresa May, believe it or not. She understood exactly what the political calculus was. She knows that every time Jeremy Corbyn calls for a no confidence vote in her, and that motion fails, he loses even more face. He loses even more respect within his own party. By him losing more respect within his own party, it actually would then weaken the case of the Remainer Labour MPs, because many of them are going against the wishes of their constituents by holding a hard line on wanting to stay in the European Union. So all of this is really a waiting game against public opinion. And what's been going on here, of course, is this big PR campaign to try and derail Brexit and to bring about public opinion on the side of remaining in the EU, and do so via illegal means, because here's the gig. It took an act of parliament to invoke Article 50, meaning it'll take an act of parliament to undo Article 50, and there's not time for that. And notice how all the Remainers are not talking about pushing through a cancellation of the Article 50 Act of Parliament, because they all know they can't get it done in the 70 days they have left. So that's not even on the table. So what's on the table now is a whole bunch of PR, so that they could act in a way that is frankly illegal, but they can get through with it. They can get it through because they've radicalized enough in the public that they could just, pass all of this stuff and it wouldn't matter. Do what they want to do and it wouldn't matter, because, well, the people want it anyway. But the problem is that the people don't want this. Latest statistics I've seen is that Leave has about a 6-point lead over Remain, and in any potential second referendum. And the idea for a second referendum is hated on a 2-to-1 basis. So there's no stomach for a second referendum, even among people who don't like Brexit, want to see the original referendum honored, because that's the way it's supposed to work. And the members of parliament are talking their personal books and not the will of their constituents. And so what we have brewing in Britain is an outing of and a divergence, and an outing of that divergence between the political class and the people. Similar to what we're seeing here in the United States with Russiagate and Donald Trump. No different. Politicians have their own agenda. We have a different agenda. They're not listening to us. So I have a lot of sympathy for the Brits who feel humiliated and betrayed and frustrated and angry about all of this stuff, because we feel exactly the same way here in the United States. We voted for Trump to improve relations with Russia and end the military empire abroad, and we've gotten exactly the opposite of that. Some of us even voted for the wall. I know I voted on foreign policy. I know other people voted for the wall, and we can't get any of it. We wanted tax cuts. We wanted Obamacare repealed. We wanted all these things done. We didn't get any of it. We got some tax cuts, which the Democrats were happy to get rid of tomorrow if they could. So we understand your pain here on the other side of the pond. And the only ones laughing here are the evil bastards in the EU. Pardon my French. When you got guys like Donald Tusk cackling on Twitter, when you've got guys like Guy Verhofstadt cackling on Twitter, they don't know when to shut up. They think they've got this thing won and they can just continue to run the clock out here and they're going to win. You understand that the more you humiliate people, the more they're going to vote against you. The more they're just going to say, you know what? Piss on you. I wasn't for Brexit before, but I am now. I don't want to be ruled by you, you arrogant Polish bastard. Donald Tusk. All you're doing is inflaming people to be angry. All you're doing is making things worse. They're like the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. Every time, watch Return of the Jedi again. Every time Luke starts to go to the dark side, the Emperor cuts in and starts talking. I'm like, dude, if you want to win, just shut up. And he doesn't. And every time he does so, Luke gets a chance to reflect, take a deep breath, and go, no, I'm going the wrong path. Like, dude, don't do that. Just shut up, and you'll win. It's the same thing with Tusk. Shut up. If you want to win, keep your mouth shut. Can't do it. They're too arrogant. And that betrays just how vile they truly are. And it betrays to everybody what needs to happen here. And so the closer you get to the March 29th deadline, okay, and the possibility that after Brexit is over, there's a no confidence vote in Theresa May and a new government is called for and there's a new parliament. A lot of these Remainers are going to have to go back to their constituents in the next general election, be it a year from now after a no confidence vote or just in general. And they're going to have to face those constituents. And if they lose this fight, if they continue to expend political capital in these frankly chaotic attempts to derail Brexit this way, the way they're going about it, which at this point will take practically a parliamentary coup if Alexander Mercouris over at the Duran is correct, then their political careers are going to be over. And there's going to be a lot of people in Parliament out of work. And the whole point of this is that the political class and the permanent bureaucracy in Britain and the people behind them, they're part of the British deep state, they all want to remain in the EU because they love the perks. That's what this is about. They like the perks. Everybody else gets screwed. They like the perks. So when you parse through what everybody's been saying, you hear the same thing. Take no deal off the table. Why? Because it's the only negotiating point that the Brits have. Look, we're leaving on March 29th without a deal. Give us something to work with. Merkel, Macron, Tusk, Juncker. Oh no, because they all think that at the end of the day, the Brits are going to cave, just like the Greeks cave, just like everybody else, because that's their strategy. And their strategy has been that way because apparently you've got guys like Tony Blair and others are in there telling them to do this because the British government, the British deep state, the media and everybody are working in the EU's favor. I've said this before and I'll say it again. These people aren't invincible. They're actually quite weak. They've just never had to sit at a table where they don't get to choose their whole cards. If you understand the poker reference. I mean, the EU plays poker in such a way that they say, well, I get a pair of aces. You can have whatever you want. And then you get whatever comes off the top of the deck. Whenever they approach these negotiations, that's the way it's been set up for them. They get a stacked deck. And you get nothing. So when we get down to the wire, the big question is going to then be, will they still have those hold cards? Because Theresa May looks like, now that she's survived the second no confidence vote, and while she's still maybe trying to still play the game of, well, you can either have this or horrible deal where we can stay in the European Union, that still may be her game. The other game may be, I've survived this against all odds. My political career is now no longer over. The most likely outcome for me to stay in power is to deliver on a Brexit that the people actually will respect. And at this point, her deal is one that even the people won't respect. If Parliament won't respect it, the people certainly won't. Now she's got to make the honest choice between her deal, some minor tweaking in Plan B, or no deal. And what now becomes very interesting is that Theresa May might wind up being the best person. This is the scary part. The best person to deliver a no-deal Brexit. It all depends on whose side she's actually fighting for, whose side she actually plays for. And the real question is, if she doesn't, the real question is like, has she switched sides? Because she's been working for the EU the entire time. She's been working for the British deep state the entire time. Now the question is she not? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't have the answer to it. We'll find out soon. Because if she is, then all those labor remainers who are going against their constituents' wishes, they'll jump ship at the last minute, and there will be a no-deal Brexit. Stranger things have happened. All right, this has been the Gold, Goats, and Guns short news for Thursday, January 17th, 2019. If you like what you heard today, please give a like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. You can also follow my work over at goldgoatsandguns.com, and you can follow me on Twitter whenever I decide to tweet, even though what's the point anymore, because Twitter's a cesspit. And you can follow and you can support my work over at patreon.com/goldgoatsandguns. Again, another cesspit, but for now, I'm not censored over there, so everything's cool. You guys take care. You be well. You talk soon. Keep your stick on the ice.